Hey everyone, got a question from a follower of this, channel, and they were asking me about pasture. And apparently, there's a situation where there's a few horses that they help take care of, that they're in a really bad pasture. The pasture is full of manure. It's also full of weeds. And the horses apparently don't have a lot of grass, and they were asking what to do in this situation. So several things come to mind with pasture maintenance. As you can see, we have several different pastures. So there's one, the electric fence divides it into another one. There's another electric fence, there's another one, there's another electric fence far down there where we have another one. We've got one here, we've got one there. So we have several pastures for our 6 horses. And of course that's a separate neighboring, that's another pasture that we have, but those horses stay separate from the rest of the herd because they're on a special diet. But anyway, what is very important with pasture maintenance, if you can do it and if you have the ability to do it, is to divide your pastures and rotate pasture. It's critical because horses can eat down a pasture very quickly, and if you allow them access to the entire pasture at the same time, then what's going to happen is they're going to eat the whole thing down, and they're going to poop in it, and they're going to sleep in it, and you never give your pasture any time to rest. So like right now, we have our horses eating on this pasture straight ahead, but this pasture next to them is what is called resting. This pasture is resting. All the other pastures are resting. So we will keep them on this pasture that they're eating on for at least a week, okay? And then we will move them to another pasture, and we will let all the rest of the pastures still rest. So then when they're done with that one for a week, we're going to move them, to one of these down here. They were just on this one last week, and you can see how eaten down it is. See how the grass is a lot lower in this pasture? That's after a week of eating in here, in comparison to a pasture that is very plush with very long grass. So you can tell just how much 6 horses have eaten down one pasture in a week's time. Now, imagine if we left them on this pasture all the time. There wouldn't be any grass left. So right now, because we just came off a 1-week rotation on this one, and we're able to rotate between our 3 or 4 or 5 other pastures, then they're not going to be on this pasture again for like another 4 weeks, which is great because we do, we did a week here, now we're going to do a week there, then we'll do a week there, then so on and so forth. So by the time we use those other pastures for a week, this one has actually had 4 weeks to rest. You see how that works? And then we will move them back to this pasture, and it will be up to our knees again. And then we just continue that process throughout the summer. Now, not everybody has this many pastures, but we had to divide these up. I mean, that used to all just be one big pasture, but we divided it. Same with all these. We had to put the dividers in. So that is one thing you can do. And everybody's going to be saying, well, where are your horses? Well, the horses are standing right here. I mean, they're right behind me. They've been following me around. So they're all standing up here for the time being, but they will go back out to the pasture to eat. But they're so fat and happy, they're not even hungry. I mean, they don't even want to eat because they're so full. But anyway, the other thing you want to do is treat your pastures with some type of a weed killer. We use Grazon, Grazon. I think it's the HL, Grazon HL. We used that to treat these pastures. It did a great job. He does mix it a little bit more strong for the buttercups. And then we also drag the pastures. So we take a tractor or a mower, a lawn tractor, and we have a big drag here, but I also have just a chain link fence gate, and you can drag the pastures if you don't have a manure spreader. So on these smaller pastures, like, we'll go over it with a drag and we'll spread out that manure, and then that manure becomes instant fertilizer all year. So while this is resting, we'll drag the pasture, we'll get all this manure spread out, and then it will sink back into the ground, especially during a rainstorm, and it will fertilize the pastures organically. So, and if you have something called a manure spreader, then you don't have to you don't have to drag them because it chops up the dried manure, and it shoots it out. We do that in a lot of our we have 2 big manure spreaders, so we do that in the really large pastures. So these are all things that you can do to help your pastures stay healthy and to help your horses stay healthy. So I hope that helps. And if you did find any, if you did glean any insight from this video, I do hope that you would like, share, repost. It really helps us. It helps the algorithm. And also, if you all have any tips and tricks that you do for your pastures, please share them. I would love to hear about them. And yes, my horses look very silly because they have fly masks on and fly boots on. But it helps with all these insects right now. The gnats are horrible right now, and so are the flies, for that matter. Here's something pretty interesting, folks, that you may not be familiar with. You see this white stuff on Shakespeare's back? Well, that is sweat. That's how a horse sweats. They sweat salt out. And when you see white patches like that on a horse, oh, he got ugly with Wyatt. When you see white patches like that on a horse, that is how a horse sweats. So, but this will brush right off. I can just get a brush and brush it off. But lots of times when the sweat when their sweat dries, it becomes very white like that because they are losing salt. That's why it's very important to include salt in your horse's diet. It doesn't look like Wyatt's been sweating too much, so Wyatt's not very active. Yes, I see you. Shakespeare's turning his butt to me because he wants me to scratch his butt. And I know my horse, so I don't mind standing directly behind him like this. I know he will not kick me. He's just asking for butt scratches, which, I'm happy to help him out with. So, not a problem, but hope that helps, folks. And, enjoy your morning, noon, night, wherever you are. And I hope you found this video useful. All right, thanks so much.